we can start. I see that we have many people already connected in the web. So I'm waiting the okay from the technical part of the garagErasmus Academy. Okay. Perfect. So welcome everybody for this session where we want to show you the different successful stories of the Erasmus generation. I'm Fabrizio, I'm the CEO of garagErasmus Foundation, and I'm very happy to see many participants in this activity organized from garagErasmus with the cooperation of GY Academy based in Malta and with the ESAA network. It's a great honor today for me to interview Laura Moreno Belmonte. We have to say that for Spanish people it's very important to specify all the surnames. So
thank you.
I wanna say it. So welcome Laura, and thanks to accept our invitation for this
thank you
for this interview. So Laura's story represents from my point of view in many ways the dream of the Erasmus students. Of course, the exchange first. And after that, the opportunity to go back and to work in your Erasmus city. I remember when I was Erasmus student in Madrid more than 10 years ago. And during that period, my dream was effectively to go back in the city. You did it because now you are working in the city.
I am.
You did your Erasmus. And with a great success, we can say, because you combine the work, your work position, and of course your passions. Because to inform all the people, Laura is an engineer, and also she's a yoga teacher with her web page, with also more than 20,000 followers on Instagram. I have many questions for Laura, so I hope to have enough time to do all the questions.
Yes.
Of course, I'm sure that also the participants will have many curiosity probably to ask you some questions. So
okay.
To start, Laura, the first question. In 2011, you moved from Madrid, so my Erasmus city, that was your home country, and you moved to Milan, that is my home country, actually.
Yes.
For your Erasmus experience at the Polytechnic of Milan. I would like to know how did this experience change your life? And of course, the first question is if you recommend it.
Well, I will start from the beginning. So I decided to make this Erasmus experience abroad. I had never traveled alone from Spain at that point. So I decided to turn around my life and take this decision to go in a city I didn't know. So I had many options. I decided to go to Milan, even though I had been in Italy before. But I don't know, I thought Milan would have been nice, no? So I chose Milan, and I arrived here in September 2011. Alone. I remember the first days were the worst because I didn't know anyone. I didn't know Italian. I spoke a little bit of Italian, but it was, you know, this way you have to talk a new language, but you don't know how to speak with other people in a proper way, no?
Yeah.
So I decided to did my first year, so the whole year, 2 semesters in Politecnico di Milan. I chose several exams from different years because my degree is not the exact one in Milan. Answering your last question, of course, I suggest people to go on Erasmus. It absolutely changed my life in all ways, and we will talk about them later. firstly, because it opened my mind and my world as well. Because first of all, I grew up. You know, I was 21, so I was quite young. I'm the first daughter in my family, so I was opening this Erasmus adventure, let's say, because also I was the first one in the family that was going in Erasmus, and it was new for everybody, not also for me. And it went very well. It was a nice year. I learned Italian. I learned how to interact with people, even though I didn't know them. You know, that maturity to start things over and create things from nothing, you know?
Yeah, perfectly. No, I really like also the fact that you open the way for your sisters and brothers, because of course I understand perfectly this part, because when I went on Erasmus, basically I went there because my brother attended the Erasmus program. So I was one of the people that used this disadvantage by the brothers, etc. So is something amazing, and I think that your brothers and sisters will be happy of this.
Yeah, of course. If I'm always telling my friends, cousins, relatives that didn't go on Erasmus that they should have gone. Maybe now my sister is 20 years old, so she's right in the right moment to decide to go on Erasmus. So she hesitates, you know, she doesn't know if go or not go. Just go, because even though it won't change your life in a huge way, it will at some point, because you will grow from there and you will at least learn one more language, which is essential in this world. And you will learn how to live in a self way, I don't know, to grow yourself and to make things better by yourself, not by being helped, but you know, you learn how to grow.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's one of the most important part of the Erasmus program. No, I think that about the self-confidence, etc., that the project is giving to you, because of course you are going to try new experience for you, and is something amazing. But in your case, one of the most interesting part was the second one, because you came back in Madrid to finish your degree as engineer. I think that I know that you enjoyed also some associations, etc. in activities in the unis. It's correct, no, Laura?
Yeah, so during my Erasmus year here in Milan, I knew many people from an Erasmus association. So this, I took this as an opportunity to join the same association in my home country, so in my hometown in Madrid. Then when my Erasmus finished in August 2012, I joined them. So I was doing the same thing that the other people was doing to me. I was helping other Erasmus in Madrid. So I kept speaking Italian. So first of all, I didn't forget the Italian.
Yeah.
And, it was very interesting for me, because even though I was in my city, I had the opportunity to know Madrid from another point of view. Just from a person who lives in Madrid, but also from I don't know, as a tourist, but also other faces of the city.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to see the city with another point of view.
Yes, yes, and that was very interesting, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So, this gave me the opportunity to know this world, and I wasn't thinking about coming back to Milan for living. I just decided to come here to Milan for a national party. Since I was in this association in Madrid, I came to Milan just for a weekend. So it was just a one weekend away, like a travel you do to Lisbon, or you go to Berlin, or I came to Milan. And it happened that it was very strange, because it was like 1.5 years that since the last time I was.
We are speaking about 2013, more or less.
Yeah, so my Erasmus finished in 2012. So 1 year after, more or less,
okay.
I came back to Milan. And I found many things that I didn't know I was going to find. I found love here. So basically, with some time, some thoughts, some thinkings, what should I do? I need to finish my degree because I was still studying in Madrid. So I decided to keep things calm for a bit and stay in Madrid, finish my degree, but at the same time see what was happening there, because it was nice. It was a good thing. So I was looking forward to it, no?
So you had a reason at the end. You had this love in Italy, and it was
yes.
the reason that why at the end of your studying period in 2015 you decided to go back to Milan. So we can say that the Erasmus with the love, etc., bring you to this decision to move.
Yeah, absolutely, because if I wouldn't have been in Milan in my Erasmus year, I would have never known him. This period I did in Madrid in the association would not have been possible. So thanks to Erasmus, all the things that the Erasmus led are all of the things that make this possible.
Yeah, great. That's great.
So as soon as I finished my degree, I came.
You moved to Milano. But
yes.
And here I think one of the questions that because, for example, when I was in Madrid studying, I said I would like to go back in this city to work there. But of course, apart from the decision to move to another city for love in this case, etc., but of course there was another point. You had to look for a job position, of course, because otherwise yes. It's quite difficult to live in another place. So how did you live this situation, not to look for a job position in another country with, of course, a different language? Of course, you had the occasion to learn yes. Italian during your Erasmus experience, but of course, in the job position, it's also different, not to use the language apart about the communication that you're
yes.
using normally. Yes. So if you can share with us something of this, because I think that many people that now are attending this,
of course,
academy, probably in the future, they will have to decide if they want to say, okay, tomorrow I'm moving in another country and I will look for a new job position in this place. So tell us, how does it work and how
okay. I'll start with this thing. I am a very demanding person and I want things now. No, if I want one thing, I want it now. But in this case, I had to wait because you need to settle things before moving out, you know. So I was doing this 6 months internship in Madrid, so in my town, and I was looking forward to go to Milan to live. So I started to look for a job in Madrid. So I was looking for any kind of job, even not related to my degree, but I was looking for an opportunity to be able to move to Milan in a self-economic way, because I didn't want to depend on my parents. Of course, I wanted to start a grown-up life, no? So I started to work in this company in Madrid that happens to be the same company I'm working now in Milan. So it was the same company. It's a multinational company of consultancy. So I saw this job opportunity in Rome, and but I took the opportunity to ask for a job position in Milan.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to Rome. I wanted to go to Milan. So after these 6 months in Madrid, they told me, okay, Laura, you are in, so we will wait for you. So I have to say I was very lucky, because I found a job even before arriving to Milan. So in this case, I arrived to Milan in March 2015, and I started the new job after 2 days. So I was very lucky, but sometimes you don't have this luck. You need to look for a job, you need to do interviews. I mean, I did interview, I did some interviews, but it took like 7 months to find something that was okay for me.
Yeah. But I think that, of course, you were lucky for sure, because, of course, there was a combination of different,
yes,
different situations. But at the same time, I think that inside the Erasmus generation, in this case, you had a goal, probably, not to say, I would like to go in Milan. So probably also, I think that when you were looking for the job position open, etc., probably you were also focused to see which companies had opportunities also in other countries, etc. No, so probably this kind of.
Yeah, of course, I looked all over for a job. I was looking for anything that could allow me to go to Milan and stay here without thinking about, oh my God, I don't have money, or I have to go back to Madrid, because I wanted to build a life here. Of course, it was very difficult. I mean, at the beginning, before I knew I had this opportunity in Milan, I was very negative, you know, because at the beginning you don't have nothing, and the only thing you have is this passion, this
desire
this desire to achieve everything, and you do your best. You do interviews, you compile the CV, you send it everywhere. Of course, I was starting to speak Italian in a non-common way, you know, in a formal way, which was very difficult at the beginning.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Laura, when you were looking for this position, etc., I would like to know, how do you consider that your Erasmus experience had an impact on the selection, of course, of the recruiters from their side? So if you're thinking that your Erasmus experience was one of the key factor that they used to ask you to be part of the company, and from the other side, what are the skills and the other aspects that you learned during your Erasmus experience that then were used, were cool, were you use a lot during your career, during your job position? Because I think
an Erasmus experience opens your mind and makes you think that you can make it, that you can create something by yourself. So I mean, it helps you to believe in yourself. So I think, okay, I want to achieve this, so I will do whatever I need to get it. And I didn't know I would have find a job, so I started looking. And when I found it, I tried to, of course, the Erasmus gives you also the second language. In my case, not only English, but also Italian. So in this job interview, I had the opportunity, of course, to talk in Italian, because the interview was in Italian. and also talk in English. My English is not perfect, of course, but it has improved during my Erasmus and improves every day thanks to the fact that I have my mind open. And I see it when I talk to, for example, my other sister who didn't go to an Erasmus. And I mean, I don't know if there are words to explain it clearly, but you feel it. You feel that it's different. You have a different mind, a different mindset. And of course, Erasmus has helped me to see things differently. I mean, that like everything is possible because I made it. I mean, I'm not that different from you or from the people who are listening to us now. So they don't have to find the love, of course. They just have to look for a job if they want. And or maybe if they don't find it, they can go to that city and look for a life and create something from nothing. And then in some time they will think, okay, so I built everything I have. I built all of my life from nothing, and that's a self satisfaction that, well,
and that's cool. I think that you have to be very satisfied about your life until now, because okay, now so you are working as an engineer. You are an IT analyst in this company. I don't know if you know, not it's an international company. But I think that one of the aspects that I would like to analyze with you is also another aspect of your profile, no? Because apart your engineer profile that where you are working on, etc. And in many cases, of course, people are thinking, but tomorrow I will work in something, and then I will not have the chance to do other projects, other things, etc. I think that in the Erasmus generation, in the Erasmus world, in your case, you had a great other activity, no? That you decided to improve, because I saw that you have a web page that is lauramorenobelmonte.com, and
yes, I have.
Also I saw your Instagram page, and I see that you are, we can say with those kind of numbers, we can say influencer. I know that there are other influencers with biggest numbers.
I'm not Chiara Ferragni, but
exactly, but we know that it's an important number. So I would like to know how everything started, you know, about your passion for yoga, because of course I think that to create something like this, you have to find an idea or something to do it. So if you can tell us something about it, Laura.
Well, it started like a hobby. So when I moved to Milan, I decided to move, to work out, to go to the gym, to start a new something apart from job. So my friends were already doing yoga, so I joined them, and I fell in love with this discipline. I like it a lot, and I started to practice yoga as a normal student, you know. So I started with this Instagram profile. I had like 300 followers, like everyone, you know. But I started to post photos and to see people which had many followers, and I saw and I thought, I want to be like them, and I want to do that handstand, and I want to do like this, and I want to do all of this, and I started to practice, and I was growing up. I hit like 1,000 followers, and then 2,000, and then 10,000, and that was it. I mean, I had this profile, this hobby, this other thing apart from work that kept me alive, you know, because I don't know, some people like to run, to go to the mountain, to go hiking, to go biking, And I don't know, I liked this yoga thing. So I started to grow up, and companies started to contact me to do this kind of occasional collaborations. And well, I started to be more visible in the gram, it said, in the feed. So I started to grow this passion for yoga. So I decided to start this teacher training to become a yoga teacher, because of course I have my job. I like what I do, like an IT consultant, but I don't want to be that kind of person that works from 9 to 9 and also weekends. And because, you know, consultancy world can be very dangerous, because people work and work and work and work. And I want to do other things. So I started this thing, and I decided to go to teacher training. So I became also a yoga teacher this year during quarantine.
Great. So congratulations about this. So now we have also this success reached during the last months. So to demonstrate how we can use the period of the quarantine and how people use it, because also this is very important. And I think that it's very interesting, the part of the communication. No? I think that also for the attendees of this academy, if of course you want to share some question online to the people, to the participants, you could just write in the chat, and I'm more than happy to tell Laura the question about it, because I think that the part of communication is one of the most important part today in the job life of the people, because of course I'm finding very interesting the fact that you are coming from the world of engineering, that is totally opposite about the fact of communication, etc. I also studied in the Polytechnic, in the Polytechnic University, but we don't have any kind of courses about how to communicate to people, how to reach results, etc. But in any kind of job, and as we can see now, I think that the communication is crucial. And I think that if you reach the more than 20,000 people on your social channels, I think that it also thanks to the communication. I would like to understand, how did you achieve this result? So how does it work? So if I want to do something on Instagram or on my social channel, because I think that you can use the style that people are using, of course, in any kind of sector. But I think that we have to underline how to do it, because if we are speaking with me, that I'm not taking care about communication, I don't have any idea about. Probably I'm doing my job very well, but in the communication field, I don't have any idea of it. So if you can tell us something about how you reach it, and
well, it takes time, like everything, but you need to start. And when I started, I was posting like every day, like once or twice, and I was communicating basically my yoga journey. So my steps that I was following in order to achieve, I don't know, a certain position. Or so I started. I didn't know who was following me, because I mean you can see that, you can see the areas of the world of your followers, but just in a percentage. So I was starting to talk only in Italian, because I live in Italy. But when I write, I do it both in Spanish and English and Italian. So I arrive to more people, you know. Sometimes I do like this translation. I start with the message in English, and then I copy the same message in Italian. I want to arrive to the more people, the better. So I'm not selling anything, because I didn't make, I don't know, a yoga program, or I'm not making money of it, but I just love to share my experience, because I know that my experience is the same as others. So
okay. So at the beginning, because for example, Javeria, I don't know if the pronunciation is.
Yeah, that's a question.
Asking exactly that. So how you started, and in particular, which kind of photos or videos, if you had a sort of strategy to publish it in your yoga in your profile.
Well, I have to be honest. Oh, sorry, you were doing a question.
No, it was just to understand how changed the perspective from the beginning when you started, as you said, for you, basically just to share some information, and how it changed in the other period. Because of course, then I think that in your mind, when you saw many people following you, you said probably something is changing. So,
yeah. At the beginning, I have to be honest, at the beginning, I wasn't very observative. I didn't observe myself. For example, now sometimes I'll go to my profile and I see myself and I see how people see me, no? And that's the way you have to go like a little bit higher and see yourself like the others see you. And you start to analyze, and you tell yourself, maybe I should change this. And of course, you see other people which are growing faster, or which are having success. So you say, okay, maybe I should change this aspect of my way of communication and go towards another direction. Yeah, at the beginning you don't know anything, because this digital marketing world is unknown for me. So I didn't made any master on marketing or anything. So I learn on the go. I have some friends that are influencers as well. So I try to learn the more things that I can. So I try to grow at 360 degrees.
Great. So we have one technical question about Instagram. Giacomo is asking if you are using any program or app to decide which type of hashtag to insert.
So the answer is no, because there are many web pages in which you can find the trending topic hashtags, but there is a little bit dangerous, because on one side, if you use a trending topic hashtag, you can be visible because everyone is using it. So if you look, I don't know, for the hashtag yoga, millions of people are using that hashtag. But on the other side, if you use another hashtag which is not used so much, you won't be visible like in the other one, but you will be one of the few that is using it. I don't know if there is any kind of program that prepare you the hashtags, honestly, but I know you can put at maximum 30 hashtags for every post. And I mean, you have also many websites in which you can see how you're growing and how your hashtags are going.
Sure, great.
The website is called Ninjalytics, which is like the best way you have to see how you're growing.
Okay, great. So there are many kind of tab or app that you can use to help your activity, no?
Yeah, I mean, there is not just one app. Maybe there are many apps, I don't know, but I'm just looking in Google and you find everything.
Yeah, great. We have several questions, Laura. I'm trying to collect it to give. So regarding I think one of the aspects that I wanted to ask you also about how to start your if you want to start some new activities in Instagram or to share some information. We have one question from one currently Erasmus, in this case in Italy, that is asking, I want to share my experience with everyone, but I'm confused about how to start it. Should I do blogging or just making videos on YouTube? Any type that you can give if you have some suggestions about how to start, and what are the things that a person that wants to try to reach this kind of world have to think before, no? From your experience.
Well, at the beginning, if you are a very I don't know, order person, mindset order person, you may need to write down all the things you want to tell, like a diagram or a structure, like yeah, a list of things you want to talk about, and start. And I don't know, I will do this week, I will talk about where I come from. And in the second day, I will talk about my studies, and then how I decided to go to Italy or to India or to wherever. And maybe a blog can be an option. I don't know, I will prepare 10 blog articles and I will talk about my life. But you need to write this thing like trying to inspire others to do the same thing you have done. Maybe talking about what you did wrong, and if you had the opportunity to make things right, what would you do? And I think I would have been, I don't know, more fast in this job opportunity, or I think I had to choose another city, or I don't know, anything, because people like to hear about other experience, because it's what I did when I was trying to go on Erasmus and open a blog and doing a yoga teacher training, everything.
So the idea is to try to share your perspective and your idea to the others.
I think that's the key point. I mean, you can start talking about anything, because everyone would be interested about that, because we are all persons. So we decided to grow up and think and do I don't know, a blog post, or go on Erasmus, or look for a job, or buy a house. I mean, you try to talk with people because you want to know how they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now on this aspect, I think that there is one interesting question of Christina, that she's asking a good question. If you have suggestions about how to grow up with your Instagram page, so how to increase the number of followers, etc. No? Because I think that all those points are directly connected between them, no? Because I think it's my opinion, but I would like to know from, if you have to give some suggestions, of course, anyone can use Instagram in different ways, of course.
Yeah, of course. I talk about yoga, maybe Christina wants to talk about her Erasmus or other things she's good at. First of all, the profile needs to be opened, so visible. Otherwise, people don't see you. And then try to post, maybe not every day, but one day, and then one day you don't post, and then you post the day after. And then you use this kind of hashtags. You need to be active in Instagram. You can't post a picture and then don't see the phone in the whole day. You need to interact with people. You need to find people like you through hashtags. For example, I don't know, if you want to start a blog about cooking or recipes, or I don't know, whatever, for the cook, for example, you look for, I don't know, cooking, hashtag avocado, hashtag, I don't know, and you find these profiles that are similar to you. And this is how you create this called community. So you start to know people and people start to know you.
Yeah, that's cool. We have another question. I think the topic is very interesting and people are very curious about it.
Good.
I'm taking the question that I also would like to share with you because I think it's interesting. In this case, the question is on Instagram. Sorry, are you suggesting to create a hobby page of Instagram where you're speaking about travel, sport, etc., or if it's better to yes.
Okay, I got the question.
Okay, or to create a personal blog to speak about you, or to do a page most specific regarding some specific activities, etc.
Okay, so I don't know which is the best way to do it, but I will tell about mine, my way. I did this thing. I create this web page. You can check if you want. And it's impossible not to talk about myself, talking only about my hobbies, because my hobbies belongs to me. So they are connected. My life is connected to yoga, to my travels, to, I don't know, how to my health, to, I don't know, my friends. So of course I try to, I mean, you don't know everything about me if you go to my webpage, but you know, quite part of my life. Personal, I mean, when Giacomo talks about personal blog, I mean, I don't talk about my normal day, for example. I don't talk about when I wake up and have breakfast and then go to work. This is not what my blog talks about.
Of course, other people are using this kind of use of Instagram. Now that's depending on
exactly
the that you want to do.
In my case, I focus my day on achieving something. So, for example, I will do an example. I wrote an article about running. So I talked about my experience on going for a run and how to manage it, because it was a quite interesting topic for me. And another one, how to start yoga. And because why I decided to start this teacher training experience. So I based everything I talk about on the one little part of my life.
Yeah, I think that when I was checking your web page, I was found very interesting also the fact that you're speaking about your health state, no? Because you're speaking about that you have the diabetes since when you are young. And you're putting it as a plus on your profile to tell to the people and to tell your story. Also, probably to share also with people that probably has the same
illness. Yeah, this is an important part of my life, because I was diagnosed diabetes type 1. So I take insulin when I was 4 years old. I am 30 now, so it has been more than 25 years that I live with diabetes. And it's a very common disease, but not very well known between the people. So I decided to join two communities, let's say, no? I talk about yoga, I talk about my disease and how I put them together. So it's very interesting because there's many people that say, oh, I have diabetes, but I want to go for a run and I don't know how to manage it. I want to start yoga, but I have diabetes and my doctor told me I can't do sports. So these are these kind of things that put people together. And I mean, they are interested. I mean, it's a good point to talk about all people problems, because my problem can be your problem. So.
Yeah. So that's what you said before, not to share the ideas, to share your perspective and to do something personal probably in Instagram, no? Because if you are trying to just copy from others, it doesn't work probably, no?
No, not at all. No, you have to build your own brand, let's say, but not like brand. I mean, you need to create your own version. Yeah.
Great. Another question we have, so do you absolutely suggest to create one blog if someone wishes to spread his personal brand?
Well, creating a blog can mean many things. You can call your Instagram page a blog. You can call your Facebook page a blog. And you can actually create a blog page, a web page on internet. So it doesn't matter how you tell people about your life. I mean, it doesn't matter how you transmit, how you communicate. I think the important thing, I think that the important thing is that you communicate and you exchange information with people. And it doesn't matter if you don't have Instagram, but you have a web page or vice versa.
Yeah, great. And Laura, another question, because many times when we have our passions, etc., we are trying to separate the professional life and the other activities that we want to develop, because of course many times there is no connection. As you said, during the quarantine period, you became formally a yoga teacher, so congrats again. And I know that during the quarantine period, you had the chance to do classes online, but in particular to someone of your colleagues of your company. So I think that when I heard it, I found it very, very, very interesting, because you decide to put a connection between your personal life, we can say, to the job one. So I would like to know, how was the approach of the people in the company to see this, and how it was born, this idea?
Well, it was a very interesting experience because I wasn't expecting it. So I became a yoga teacher in March, and I have been smart working like many of us since March. So the Human Resources Department contacted me and asked me if I was interested on doing a yoga class for my colleagues. So since in this period we are everyone at home, and we are on a chair, and I mean we don't go out, we don't take the bus, we don't go for a walk. So I decided to go to take this class. It was in English. So I did my teacher training in Italian. I am Spanish. So doing this yoga class in English was like, oh my God, it's the first time I'm teaching a class in English. And I have to say it was very nice. So it was not only for my colleagues in my office, but also for other colleagues in other countries. So this is because the class was in English. I had people from Morocco and Spain and Portugal and the UK. So it was very varied. We had people from all over Europe, and it was a nice experience. Not everyone knew me, of course. The people from Milan knew me, and they know I like to do yoga. They know my page, and sometimes they are my followers. Sometimes I see they like pictures. So it was nice because I created a new connection with my company in a different way. So just one number in the company. I mean, I'm not just one number anyway, because I like to work in my company. Even though we are more than 1,000 people, I feel it like a family. but it was different because I wasn't the functional analyst that needs to go to the client and take the specifics. I was the yoga teacher. It was nice. It was very nice.
Now in the next months, you will be recognized also in the office when you go back as the yoga teacher. So you will change formally your position.
I saw someone asked for my page, so I'm writing it here in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Send to all. Perfect, great.
Yeah.
So people can. I think now you have to put all panelists and attendees on the way to send it to everybody. I can send.
Okay. Done.
Perfect. On this way, people can follow you. So we are going to the last questions because the time is getting over. Of course, if people have the last question, just they can write it. Sure. I have here some question connected to one of the previous questions of someone of the people. Give me a second because I saw another question in the chat before. Exactly. In your opinion, when you're hired for the job, how is the Erasmus experience considered with respect to your final degree mark? In your opinion, is it considered more to have a high final degree mark than to the Erasmus, or the opposite? So we are going back to the previous question. Yeah. So Erasmus, yes or no? Also, if I'm going to lose some months of my life.
Well, when I was doing this job interview for the job I have, of course, I was telling I have been in Milan for an Erasmus. I think the war between final mark and Erasmus depends on the country. For example, in Spain, we don't look for the maximum mark. You just need to pass.
Okay.
It's on Spanish behavior or not, but it's not like in Italy, for example. I don't know if there are many Italians here, but here in Italy, if you don't have the final mark, you may reject your vote and take the exam again. So I think it depends on the country, but anyway, I believe the Erasmus experience is always a good thing, always a good thing. And I don't know anybody who was an Erasmus and told me it was a bad experience. It is always a year that changes you in many ways. And maybe the Erasmus makes you to go slower in your degree. Maybe you lose time, you take less exams, you miss some, I don't know, some exam or project. But I mean, it was this way for me. I lost like 2 or 3 exams, but I mean, now who cares? I mean, I had my degree, I did my Erasmus.
Yeah, and you find the love also.
And I'm happy. So that's the important thing.
Exactly. No, I'm sure about it that, of course, many times people has this idea to lose time doing Erasmus, but of course, we are encouraging people to go on Erasmus and to do the experience, because at the end, the experience can, in particular by the companies, and we as garagErasmus, we are working out with many companies. Today, they are looking more for the skills, for the character of the people, instead of the note or the marks that they are taking in the final class. Yeah. Of course, if you have a good mark, it's better. Of course, that's the point, but it's not everything. So we are going with the last question of the public. Then I have my last one because the time is getting over. Laura, how do you see the future development of Facebook and Instagram? And on which social network would you bet for the next 5 years? That's
wow. This is a difficult question. This is a very difficult question because, well, I would not invest on Facebook, for example. Facebook is always there because it's super powerful, let's say, and also Instagram, which belongs to Facebook. Now there is this social media which is called TikTok, that I mean TikTok, but I don't use it so much. Personally, I will stay on Instagram and on my webpage. I don't know many things about this world. I mean, I can't analyze in a proper way if Instagram will not be working in the future. I don't know. I think there are many people on Instagram, so I don't think it will not be working in the future. So my answer is Instagram.
Great, cool. So Laura, I'm going with the last question because
yes.
Time is over. Someone is asking for some web page where they can look for Erasmus internship, etc. There are many. I'm answering for it, but there is Erasmus intern or others. But of course, LinkedIn is the best way probably today to look for a job position. So the last question, Laura, I heard that you got married with a charming Italian guy, and you had also a wonderful wedding day with the presence of people from all over the world. So without the Erasmus, probably it would have been impossible. Am I right or no?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And people need to know that you were there on my wedding day. You were one of my guests on my wedding. It was a nice day. And since both me and my husband were on Erasmus, so I'm Spanish, I did my Erasmus in Milan. My husband is Italian and he did his Erasmus in Spain. So we knew many people of all over the world and Europe, mostly Europe. So our wedding was full of people of Erasmus experience. So we all had this thing in common. And it was very nice because there was this moment in the wedding, starting by you and another friend, that they were talking both in Spanish and Italian. And it was a very nice moment. I will never forget it because everything was laughing. It was very, very fun. And both Italian and Spanish people were all together. Not only Spanish and Italian, but also other people around Europe. It was a very, very nice day, and yeah, I'm happy.
Great, Laura. Thanks a lot. I want to thank you to decide to invest your time to share your experience. I think that this part, more informal, is something very interesting to discover new stories, etc., and to get to be inspired by other people. I really hope that after this call, the attendance of the academy probably will decide to invest more time in social channel, in Instagram, etc. Of course, if you have some other questions or curiosity, of course, you can write directly to Laura on her social channel. In this case, we don't have to share emails, etc., because of course Laura is very reachable by the social channels, etc. So you can follow her. And thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much to everybody. And the meeting is going to be for tomorrow afternoon, for the Thursday week of the Thursday day of the week. We're going to have another class in the first part, and then another interview in the afternoon. So thank you so much for your participation. And Laura, see you soon for an aperitivo in Milan when we will be ready to do it.
Of course.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Bye. See you.
Thank you. Goodbye.